When you hear Christmas, you think of the birth of Jesus, but the Bible never says Jesus was born on December 25th. In fact, historically, it is almost impossible. Shepherds did not watch their sheep outdoors in the middle of winter. Roman censuses were not taken during the cold season. Today, on Behind the Obvious, we're going to uncover the Why Do We Celebrate Christmas? A story nobody explained to you. So, what happened? Over 4,000 years ago, northern cultures celebrated something called the winter solstice, the darkest day of the year, the longest night, the moment when the sun seemed to die. And what did they do? Bonfires, food, sacrifices, music, rituals, all to help the sun return. This celebration was called Yule, or simply the Festival of the Sun's Rebirth. It was so important that when Christianity began to expand, Rome made a strategic decision. We are not going to erase this tradition. We are going to transform it. And so, the rebirth of the sun became the birth of the sun, a wordplay that the Roman Empire created and you still believe today. For centuries, Christmas was more pagan than today's wildest parties. There was alcohol, feasts, rituals, dancing, masks, and more unspeakable things. Things that would absolutely get censored on TikTok today. Christmas was not family-centered. It was not peaceful. It was basically a winter carnival with a lot of red juice, if you know what I mean. In fact, do you know who hated Christmas? The Puritans. They were English Protestants of the late 16th and 17th centuries, who sought to purify the Church of England of practices they viewed as unscriptural. In 17th century England, they banned Christmas completely, calling it a sinful and out-of-control festival. The classic "Christmas is ruining society" argument is not new. It has been around for 400 plus years. And believe it or not, it was European immigrants in the United States who transformed that chaotic festival into what we know today, a mix of religion, marketing, family, and reinvented tradition. Santa Claus was not born with Coca-Cola! Coca-Cola just made him redder, rounder, and more adorable. The real Santa is much older, and much stranger. Santa Claus is an absurd mix of cultures, a character built as if history had been doing copy-paste for centuries. It all begins with Saint Nicholas, a 4th century bishop known for secretly leaving gifts for children. His feast day on December 6th created the tradition of shoes and stockings filled with presents. That is the core of Santa. In the Netherlands, Saint Nicholas became Sinterklaas, a tall bishop who arrived by ship to deliver gifts. Dutch settlers brought him to New York, and Sinterklaas eventually became Santa Claus. In Norse mythology, Odin flew through the winter sky riding an 8-legged horse. Children left food for the horse. Sound familiar to Cookies for Santa? The idea of a bearded old man flying at night fit perfectly. England had its own Christmas spirit, Father Christmas, a symbol of feasting, celebration, and joy. In the 19th century, this character fused with the American Santa. Europe added even more ingredients: the Christkind, the Weihnachtsmann, the Julenisse, the Joulupuki. All were winter gift givers. In the 19th century, the US mixed everything. Sinterklaas plus Father Christmas, plus Norse myths, plus German traditions, plus Saint Nicholas. Illustrators and advertisers created the final version: white beard, red suit, sleigh, reindeer, and a giant bag of gifts. The Santa you know today is not one person. He is a cultural collage of 2,000 years of history, mythology, religion, folklore, and marketing. Half saint, half Norse god, half European tradition, and 100% global icon. There is something people rarely mention, but it explains a lot. Christmas is not universal. Not every country celebrates it, not every culture recognizes it, and not every government allows it. 1. Countries where it is restricted or banned. In some nations, Christmas is not just uncelebrated, it is censored or outright prohibited for political, religious, or ideological reasons. Examples: North Korea, celebration controlled or banned. Somalia, officially banned since 2015 for religious reasons. Tajikistan, banned Christmas trees, school gifts, public celebrations. Saudi Arabia, long banned in public, today tolerated but very limited. This is not about tradition, it is about cultural control. 2. Countries where Christmas has no cultural meaning. There is no rejection, it simply means nothing historically. Examples: Japan, more romantic commercial than religious. China, commercial event, not a religious one. India, mainly celebrated only by Christians. Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Nepal, no historical relevance. Here, Christmas appears as lights and discounts, but not as a deep family ritual. 3. Countries that celebrate on a different date. In Orthodox Christianity, Christmas is not on the 25th, it is on January 7th. This occurs in Russia, Ukraine, Serbia, Georgia, Egypt, Coptic Church, Ethiopia. Same concept, different calendar. Christmas did not survive because it was universal. It survived because it was flexible, because it adapts, because it changes depending on the society that adopts it. Christmas works not because it is religious, but because it taps into the deepest parts of the human brain. So, why do we celebrate Christmas? Because it is one of the oldest and most human rituals ever created. A tradition that survived empires, wars, crises, religions, and migrations. We celebrate it because it reminds us of something essential, that even during the longest night of the year, the light always returns. We celebrate it because the brain needs hope, needs rhythm, needs closure, needs a beginning, needs to feel that there is still something good in this world. We celebrate Christmas not because history demands it, but because the human mind does. Merry Christmas. Now that you know Santa Claus is basically a 2,000-year-old cultural remix, I want to know what mystery we should break down in the next video. Here are 3 options to get your brain spinning. Why do we actually celebrate New Year? A tradition older than most countries, created long before calendars and even before written history. Or, the dark history behind Valentine's Day. Spoiler, it did not start with chocolate and heart emojis. Maybe, who really invented the modern birthday, and why blowing candles was once considered a protection spell? Tell me in the comments which one you want next, or suggest your own topic. I read everything. And if you want more stories that hide in plain sight, subscribe, hit the bell, and join us again in Behind the Obvious.